Hey everybody, by now everybody has heard me talking about this, but I definitely want to make a short video because I know my other videos are long-winded, okay? So with that being said, let's just make this quick. Chris Todd the Fraud wrote some of Kim Porter's book. Yes, you heard me. Chris Todd the Fraud wrote some of the book and confessed to it not once but twice to writing some of the book. And that makes the book it's not authentic. An authentic Kim Porter book will be entirely written and wrote by her, but it's not. So it's a fraudulent book, and he tricked consumers into buying it, which is consumer fraud. People purchase a product based on the description, what it's supposed to be about, and who is it's supposed to be from, etc. The product description. So, what was this product? It was supposed to be a memoir, a diary of Kim Porter that she wrote, right? And now we find out that Chris Todd wrote some of it. So now that's consumer fraud. For all that purchased the book, and to all that purchased the book, would you have purchased the book knowing that Chris Todd the Fraud wrote some of it? If the answer is no, then you were tricked and scammed and frauded into buying the book, and you should definitely demand a refund and also report him. I have a link in the description box on how to report Chris Todd the Fraud. Recently, he stated that Amazon might pay him, the alleged $1 million in book sales. And we definitely don't need that to happen, especially considering that he has confessed to writing some of the book. So let's just dive right in.
But nobody owns Kim Porter. Not Amazon, not Albie Shore, not me. That's why. And also,
but Chris Todd the Fraud, you're acting like you own Kim Porter. You're acting like you own her.
I will say this too. I did write some of the book.
What? You wrote some of the book. Exactly. He wrote some of the book. That's fraud. If people knew you wrote some of the book, they would not have purchased it. That's consumer fraud.
I'm going to put that on the record because that's my book.
And you need a criminal charge and a criminal record for fraud. Yeah.
So people need to know that now. I couldn't say that before.
You could say that before, but you chose not to because you were conning people. And you knew the best way to market the book was to say that Kim Porter wrote the book. But if you would have said the truth and stated the truth that you wrote some of the book, people would not have bought it, right? Right. So that's why you never said it before.
But I did.
Jane is asking, did you take words out from Kim's book and why?
Yes, I did. And I wrote part of the book myself.
He took words out, redacted the book. He also revised the book, changed things and changed certain words and certain information that was inaccurate to make it more believable from the previous person that put it out, who I believe to be Courtney Burgess, but that's another story. And secondly, he did actually write some of the book. Not just like, a few edits, but he actually wrote some of the book. The last page in the book, the final words, the final page, her last words, alleged last words. He wrote the entire last page. And how do I know? Well, the original book from Courtney Burgess, which is also, I believe, to be a fraud, was put out first, right, in 2023. And in 2024, Chris Todd the Fraud put out his version, Kim's Lost Words. The original version from 2023 was called Tell It All, and that was put out by Courtney Burgess. Well, if you compare both versions, the 2023 and the 2024, you will realize that there were changes. I've already made a video on all the changes that were made. But what I can say is the entire last page, the entirety of it was written by Chris Todd. So when he said that he wrote on a book, yes, he was pretending to be a Black woman. He was pretending to be Kim Porter, assuming her identity, pretending to be her, pretending like that was her last words when it was actually him writing. Isn't that interesting? Now, shouldn't consumers be aware of that? Yes.
Karen's asking, how can you publish the book when you never got the flash drive, but Courtney got sent the flash drive?
I was given the book, the docx and the PDF file from the flash drive, supposedly.
So he never actually got a flash drive. He came out here, stating he got a flash drive. He was given a flash drive. He was given a flash drive. Now he says, "Oh, I was just given a docx and a PDF." So he never got an actual flash drive. Someone just emailed him a Word document, docx, and a PDF file. So, he was acting like, "Oh, I just, somebody gave me an actual flash drive." No.
And so, okay, so someone else gave you the flash drive with the information on
Correct.
it, but
Correct.
they validated as best as they could.
They won't give me everything. They've given me enough that
They've given you enough that you believe that you believe the source.
So he's talking about Courtney Burgess giving him information. At this time, he was not naming Courtney Burgess, and no one knew about Courtney Burgess behind the scenes of this. However, once Amazon pulled the book from the shelves, guess what? Courtney Burgess made an appearance, because why? Once the book was pulled and the money was frozen, he wanted to come out and market the book and try to get that money back. Money was on the line. That's why he showed his face. And to be honest, he could have kept that face hidden, but that's another story.
Aaron's asking, how can you publish the book when you never got the flash drive, but Courtney got sent the flash drive?
I was given the book, the docx and the PDF file from the flash drive.
So why were you telling people that you have a flash drive, like you're given a flash drive? Most people are thinking, like, in their mind, "Oh, he got a flash drive." Now you were just emailed some document.
Supposedly. You have courage. I'll use a polite word for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "We'll give you the flash drive if you'll go public and you'll hide our identity." And I said, "If it's real, I'll do it. You need to prove to me it's real."
So he said, "Oh, they gave me," this is a video from Nyla. Make sure you check out her channel and subscribe. Well, he said, "Okay, prove that it's real." And, what did they do to prove that it's real? And if you believed it was real, why were you making changes to the book? Why were you revising it? And why were you actually removing the entire last page and rewriting the entire last page? Wouldn't you want Kim's words to be as is, right? So why rewrite her words? And now that's misrepresenting the book. That's fraud, consumer fraud. Nobody would have purchased the book if they knew a white man was pretending to be a black woman, Kim Porter, writing the book. They would have been like, "Hell no, I don't want that book." So you're a con artist. And how can you sit on this platform and say the book is validated and authentic, knowing that you wrote some of it? So at this time and at this point, you already knew the book wasn't authentic because you had written some of it. You only confessed, Chris Todd, the fraud, because you knew that Courtney was reselling the book. He had put his book back on the market after he had removed it when you came out with your version, and that everyone will compare notes. They would do a compare and contrast with, Courtney's book and your book. They would make comparisons to see any changes, and you will be exposed. So that's why you had no choice but to hurry up and confess to writing some of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And over a 6-month period, I believe they proved to me, and I believe Kim is here, and I am the voice of the voiceless.
You are not the voice of the voiceless. No. So he was right here acting like he cared about Kim, and he was only doing this for Kim Porter, and like she was speaking from the grave, from the dead, to him to be her voice. No. If anything, Kim Porter is speaking to say she doesn't want anybody impersonating her, stealing her identity, pretending to be her, writing these fraudulent fake books that's clearly not from a Black woman in America's perspective, of a woman in an abusive relationship, a woman with a lot of industry knowledge or experience. It's just not coming from her viewpoint, her personality, anything with a woman that's a mother. The book was more like exposing Kim Porter as some sort of just person. It's mostly, to be honest, sexually focused. And it was regurgitated, rumored information that anybody could have just Googled or knew about through movies and blogs over time. So with that being said, to me, the original version was written by Courtney Burgess. Courtney Burgess could not sell the book. And then from there, he gave it to Chris Todd. And, from there, Chris Todd and others got together and found a better way to market the book. And Chris Todd also edited the book, revised it, and completely wrote some of it.
I'm not trying to sound corny. I believe Kim
I
found me. Yeah.
No. That's what we're not going to do. She does not want this. And that's why there's a lot of pushback. That's why the book is frozen. You were actually someone that is committing fraud. And I hope you don't get 1 penny or 1 cent. Now, I'm sure you probably already got some money because the book was on other platforms besides Amazon, like Barnes and Noble was as well. Barnes and Noble, so we don't know what actually has been paid to him or not. And moreover, Courtney Burgess is also selling the book on different platforms. He had it on eBay, and he also had it on his private website.
And I think she found me, and this is how it has to be done. So I went for it. I didn't know he was going to be arrested. But nobody owns Kim Porter. Not Amazon, not Albie Shore, not me. That's why. And also, I will say this too. I did write some of the book.
So you're saying that Kim Porter had her book and her last words, her memoir, and then you're saying you're helping her by taking away her words and rewriting some of it yourself, and you're pretending to be her and taking her identity and impersonating her and speaking for her, and that's supposed to be her what she wants. No, I guarantee you, when everyone passes away, they don't want anybody to pretend to be them when they're no longer here and write their last words and pretending to be them and write a book pretending to be them. Not even a partial book or even the last chapter or last page. Nobody wants to be impersonated. Nobody.
I'm going to put that on the record because that's my book. So people need to know that now. I couldn't say.
So now it's your book, but you said it was Kim Porter's book and you're just putting it out there as her voice. But even though you're selling the book for $22 a pop, instead of putting it out here freely, it was all just for Kim Porter and her voice. But now you're saying, oh, it's your book and it's your money that's frozen. So now it's no longer about Kim Porter, which obviously it never was about Kim Porter. That's why this book is fraudulent, and that's why you admitted to now writing some of it because you think you got away with this.
Say that before, but I did.
You could say it before, you chose not to because you knew the book wouldn't. You knew the book wouldn't sell if people knew you wrote some of it.
Jane is asking, did you take words out from Kim's book and why?
Yes, I did, and I wrote part of the book myself. They got crazy, man. Kim said some crazy stuff in this book. When you read this thing, your head's going to fall off your shoulders.
I cannot wait until this book arrives.
Oh yeah, and it's not long. Like, you know, she wasn't Hemingway. She's not Kerouac. It's only 60 pages. But
and you're expecting us to believe that Kim Porter, through all her life and all her experience, that her whole diary memoir would only be 60 pages. And a lot of those chapters were short. Yeah. And it really wasn't really a real diary or insightful. It didn't have a lot of emotions. It wasn't really from what I would say a Black woman in America with kids and a family would actually be writing about. It wasn't really focused on exposing Diddy. It was heavily focused on sexual activities, and it was weird. And then the rest of the stuff came from like Biggie and Tupac rumored stuff. So yeah, the book was just that's definitely not Kim Porter. And the more stuff that comes out, especially the latest happenings with, Corey, to putting out things exposing Courtney Burgess, with Matthew Cox coming forward, and even Hollywood Wade. The truth is coming to the light about this Kim Porter book, alleged Kim Porter book.
$25 or whatever I charged. I'm telling you right now, like, it'll make you think. It will change your life for like.
There you go, a car salesman, book salesman, fraudster, fraud. Chris Todd, fraud. I like that.
Couple days.
Jane is asking, did you take words out from Kim's book and why?
Yes, I did, and I wrote part of the book myself.
Notice how he avoided the key question. He admitted to, taking parts out and writing some of it, but he neglected to answer the question of why. Oh, because his objective was, which I said from day one, was to get a movie deal. That's why he changed the book, especially the last page, to like a cliffhanger. That right there told me all I needed to know. What diary ends in a cliffhanger? Whatever the person was thinking in that moment, they're going to finish that thought or that sentence. It's not going to end in a cliffhanger. If I were writing a diary, whatever I was jotting down, I would at least get to a stopping point. This was obviously something scripted and something about like, it was clearly not a real diary. Okay. Yeah.
But nobody owns Kim Porter.
But you're acting like you own her.
Not Amazon, not Albie Shore, not me. That's why. And also, I will say this too. I did write some of the book. And I'm going to put that on the record because that's my book. So people need to know that now. I couldn't say that before, but I did.
It's like a 2024 scandal, and it's $1 million scandal because, $1 million in book sales, for a book with poor editing. The book was just poor. Like, it wasn't even like someone didn't even put a lot of effort into writing a book and then get $1 million in sales, committing fraud, pretending to be Kim Porter, stealing her identity, and now at the very end stating it's not Kim Porter's book, it's my book. Wait, I thought it was Kim's lost words. It was supposed to be putting out her voice, getting her message out there. And now when it's said and done, oh, I wrote some of the book and it's my book. So now it's like possessed of like he is controlling. And if you actually look at Chris Todd, his history, look at some of the ROs and PPOs that have been put out on him, or, well, not put out, it wasn't finalized, but attempted filings. And he has the same like nasty behavior and demeanor where he's very controlling and possessive of stories. Any story that he's interested in that's true crime or anything that's like this, like with Kim Porter, he becomes possessive and wants full ownership of it and wants full rights to the book and movie of it, especially the movie. So that's what his whole goal is to make a movie out of this too.
Jane is asking, did you take words out from Kim's book and why?
Yes, I did. And I wrote part of the book myself. But nobody owns Kim Porter.
So with that being said, this is definitely exploitation. She's been exploited. She's no longer here to speak for herself and to speak out. That's why others have to speak out and speak up against people being exploited. So it's kind of like the story of Henrietta. Over the years, Black women have been exploited for profit and power, and it can affect people's legacies as well, okay? So we have to keep that in mind. So Henrietta Lacks was a mother of 5, and she had these cells that they call HeLa cells. And these cells were taken from her in 1951 without her consent. And the reason her cells are popular is because They are considered immortal, and for decades, her family remained in poverty. They were poor, and they didn't even realize that, you know, these HeLa cells were contributing to a lot of medical breakthroughs, and that a lot of people were profiting from this. And I would say profiting big time from, you know, taking these HeLa cells without her permission and selling these HeLa cells for studies, because these immortal cells, they really don't die. So people can keep on studying those cells. Now, how can this relate to Kim Porter? Well, you know, she's a woman whose voice and experiences were suppressed and reshaped by those around her. Like Chris Todd, he wrote some of her books. Like he wrote some of her books. He did not let everyone know that he wrote some of the books. So I believe the whole book is fraud, but here it goes. Altering the book, pretending to be her, pretending like the book is authentic and 100% entirely written by Kim Porter. He did that for his own agenda, his own purpose, and his own benefit and for profit. And it's all about making the production for his profit, exploiting someone's death. And now he has like 1 million in book sales. So like Henrietta Lacks, Kim's truth, her essence was commodified into just like a product. So it's no longer about their life. It's like their life, their body, their existence, their essence has become a product. And of course, if you know that somebody wrote some of the book, that calls into question how much of the book, the story was truly about Kim Porter. It's just a mess, y'all. It's just a mess. So when Henrietta, you know, cells were taken for a long time, it went unknown, or, you know, justice wasn't really served until after a while. So when it wasn't until way after Henrietta was no longer here, that her family and another woman fight for her and try to speak for her to have justice beyond the grave, right? So with the whole Kim Porter, we know that she's been exploited, her impersonated, her identity stolen. People are pretending to be her, writing books. That's exploiting her. So she also needs justice beyond the grave as well. When people are deceased, they can no longer defend themselves or speak for themselves. So that's why it's important for others to do it. So with that being said, there's a call to action for you to report Chris Todd, the fraud, and also Courtney Burgess. And I will have the information under this video on how to report both people for right now. And if there are any updates, I will let y'all know. And there will be a part 3 of exploiting Kim Porter soon. I don't know when I will make that video, but it will be coming soon. And make sure y'all get the word out. Get the word out. Get this message out. Share, share, share.